Hey there. This is a book I've chosen called The Double Accordion. And the reason I was attracted to that is it has images on all sides. This book is inspired by Kazuko Watanabe, and this book was called A Diary of a Sparrow. So I made one. You know, it shuts completely, and then it's a double accordion with a do-si-do, meaning it's optional for you to do a pamphlet stitch on these little books. Here's one done with clear mylar. You can use some marker and draw on these. Okay, and we're going to make a hot dog because I'm going to show you how to make a hot dog and pierce it with the awl in the cradle. And how to do a three-hole pamphlet stitch. So let's get going. I have some new paper here. And you'll have these directions, but I've already scored, and we went over scoring, these happen to be 4x4. You can make this any size you want. And I'm making a mock-up out of cheap paper, once again. It has a 1/2-inch glue tab. I've scored every 4 inches. I've numbered my book because this is my mock-up. And I'm just going to go ahead and start. I'm going to look at the drawing I did. So one is going this way. I pay attention to that. 2, 3. Glue tab. Okay, that's one. And then now I have this shorter part, which is 7 through 10. That's going to get, let's see. It's going to get glued on this way with the tab. See how I had to find where I was so I know which way the book is folding, the accordion. I always like to crisp my folds with my bone folder. Okay, then I have that. So I have one side of the accordion. Now I pick up this piece that's already pre-scored, and it has a 1/2-inch tab on both sides. This one didn't have, the middle one doesn't have a tab on either one because the tab's on this side, and this does not have a tab. All right, now I'm going to do the back of the double accordion. I have a tab. I have all these numbered. You're not going to number them as dominant on your good paper. This is my mock-up, so and I find the tab is at right after number 3, right here. Okay, so then I'm going to start to fold my scored accordion. And it has a tab on this end. So let me just kind of pretend. And this tab gets glued right there. So I'm going to show you how to glue. Again, I have my scrap piece of paper. I have my glue stick. Another thing you could do when you're still making your mock-up is just paper clip it and wait to glue it later. I ended up using kind of an orange and a darker red because I thought it would just be interesting for my mock-up. Eventually these will get pamphlet stitched. you can start to see how it's taking shape. Let me do one more thing before I glue this one. I want to show you how to make a hot dog. Hot dog is 4 inches tall because this is how I'm going to figure how to put my holes in the spine or the valley. This is a mountain fold, this is a valley fold. This is a 1 inch wide hot dog. I've scored it down the center. I'm going to fold it in half. I've already scored it so it has a memory. I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise. Now I'm going to fold it bottom to top. Trying to get everything even. This is not scored. Then I'm going to open it back up, take this bottom edge to the center fold. I'm going to take the top edge to the center fold. Now when I open it up, I can see these crosses where the folds cross, so I'm going to put dots there. 1, 2, 3. And this is where I'm going to poke my holes with my awl on my cradle. This is a huge cradle. You're going to have some cardboard ones we might make in class, or wood ones. Okay, so I poke my awl through the hole. Let's say you don't have one. You could manage by just folding it and gently poking through. Now I'm going to have my needle. This is my linen thread. It's waxed linen thread, and I already have my needle threaded. And I like to use Darner's size 1, Richard and Hemming & Son large eye needles. The thread goes through nicely. And then I'm going to show you my do-si-do, my pages. I have 2 pages. They're 4 inches tall. I'm going to place my hot dog in there and take my awl and put it down in there and pierce through. Now I'm going to flatten my book back out. I didn't glue the last one yet. I'm leaving that open. And I see that I have a do-si-do, a little paper with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch between 5 and 6. And but I have to sew through both the front and the back. So I've made a little mark between 5 and 6. And I've made sure they're lined up. And I'm going to bend them together and put them in my cradle with, I'm going to use my little blue hot dog. I have a red one too, I'm just doing the blue one for fun. Get my awl, my wooden awl. Line everything up. I'm going to punch through the middle hole. My top hole, and then it's hard to see, there, my bottom hole. And I'm going to take it out. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to hold it and make sure, I don't want to force it too much, but I just want to make sure I've gone through both things. Then I've already pierced through this. And I'm going to line up my holes. I'm going to grab my needle and go through the center hole. And I have what I call a tail. I leave that. Then I come around the back and go through the top hole, making sure I'm going through the book, the pages. Then I go all the way down to the bottom pamphlet stitch. It's a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, 1, 2, 3 hole. Then I go down to the bottom hole. Make sure I'm piercing through my pages. And my book. You see that? And I still have that tail hanging out. So I tighten everything up, come around, and go back through the middle hole to the front of the book. But when I come, I try to see where this thread is coming to the left side of that. I want to go to the right side of the thread, pull all the way through, tighten everything up. I'm going to take my scissors, cut generously, and I'm going to do a square knot. A square knot is where the left thread goes over the right thread, go all the way down, and then the right thread goes over the front of the left thread, and that is a square knot. Now I do want a bit of a tail, but not this long, so I take my scissors, cut it. And that is in the valley of the book. This is the mountain, this is the valley. Now I want to do the same with this. I don't have to put a book in their pages. I could just put this in the cradle, get my hot dog, put it in there, get my awl, my wooden awl, and do my 3 holes for a pamphlet stitch. Where's my thread? Here it is. Hopefully I have enough. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to come in from the back. Well, no, I'll come in from the front. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to come in from the front. Go up to the top hole. Go through. Come all the way to the bottom hole. Go through both. Then I go back through the center hole. I try to get my thread on the other side of the thread so I can do my square knot. And the last thing I do is I'm going to glue this edge You're not going to be as sloppy as me because I'm being filmed. I'm kind of rushing. You won't be being filmed, so you can take your time. And I put that right on that edge. I'm going to shut it and use my bone folder to really crisp it up. Then I'm going to open it. Now if I had more time, you know, I might do a do-si-do over here when I sew it. You can see here I did 2. It's optional. You can just sew it and not do any do-si-dos. It's up to you. But here's a chance to do some text with imagery, and you have some good examples that students have made in the past that I share with you. Okay.